We have all had that moment at the checkout line. You buy the same basic groceries you always do, but when the receipt prints out, the total is surprisingly high. You check the lines, and the list of costs just keeps going. Paying more for everyday necessities without knowing why is a frustration that reaches back to 1776. Before the Revolution, colonists were hit with hidden taxes on common goods like paper, glass, and tea. The price of tea was only one part of the problem. Colonists were forced to pay these extra charges while having no say in how their money was being taken or where it was being spent. Look around at prices today, and you will notice a very familiar pattern. Modern government policies often work quietly in the background, operating in a similar way to those colonial taxes. The sense of frustration you feel at the checkout today mirrors the same economic friction that ultimately helped spark the birth of the nation. To understand why things cost so much right now, we have to look at specific policy decisions from the Trump administration. When we do the math on 3 major decisions, the numbers add up quickly. We are looking at a bill of roughly $2,784 drained directly out of the average American household. The biggest piece of that bill is a $2,000 line item called a tariff. Think of a tariff as a penalty fee that a government charges when goods are brought in from another country. The stated goal was to protect local manufacturing. However, foreign companies do not actually pay that penalty fee. The importing companies pay it, and then they add that cost to the price tag of your groceries, your clothes, and your electronics. These rows of shipping containers represent the massive scale of the physical goods we bring in. Because of this extra fee on all these incoming items, the American economy lost $180 billion in growth in 2025 alone. Instead of protecting your job, these import fees act as a quiet, inescapable tax on your basic survival. The second major cost to your household comes from military escalation overseas, specifically a $72 billion spike in spending directed at tensions in the Middle East. You can see the effect of these distant conflicts at this gas station. It hits you instantly at the pump and the checkout counter by driving up global prices for oil and everyday food items. This animation shows the total fallout. You are paying about $1,000 extra per household in higher gas and food costs. When you add in the direct military spending, $134 billion leaves the domestic economy. That is money that isn't fixing potholes in your town, funding your local schools, or helping families pay rent. Finally, these policies have ripple effects that reach people who never even buy imported goods or drive a car. This line graph shows the decline of international tourism to the U.S. In 2025, 4 million fewer people visited the country compared to the year before, driven by a 22% drop in visits from Canada. When tourists stop coming, the local economies that depend on them begin to break. That missing foot traffic resulted in an $8.4 billion loss in revenue for local restaurants, tour companies, and small towns. The people who feel this hardest are workers in the hospitality industry, who rely on fully booked rooms and busy lobbies to keep their jobs. Policies that close us off from the world end up affecting the livelihoods of the local workers who depend on a thriving, open economy. When you add it all up, the extra money you pay for your groceries, the spike at the gas pump, and the lost shifts at the hotel function as modern versions of those hidden colonial taxes. We celebrate our independence with fireworks and parades. However, keeping a democracy functioning requires active participation beyond the holiday festivities. It requires civic duty. That means taking an active role in holding leaders accountable when their math drains your family's budget. Right now, 63% of Americans recognize this impact and oppose these import taxes. The Founding Fathers designed our system specifically so we, the citizens, have the power to fix these leaks in our economy. The next time you look at a high receipt, trace where your money is actually going. Then take that knowledge to the ballot box to protect your household income. True freedom means knowing the exact cost of your government and then exercising your constitutional power to change it.
Join the 100M movement and let's do extraordinary together.